Okay, so small reminder before I start my video, please subscribe if you are interested and leave a comment to help improve my video. Thanks. Okay, this time let's unlock Elisabeth ending, shall we? It should be easy now that I know what to do. Alright, first, no thank you, strange lady. Block of Carmilla,
I'm not interested in going out with strange women who tap on windows late at night.
Yeah. First block of Carmilla all the time, like here and on the door. Make her a little bit suffer. Yep, and then continue the, bothering Carmilla here, like just opening the door and making her slam to the freaking open.
Don't you dare, you vile!
Just like that. Still love that expression. Okay, now we choose Elisabeth. Elisabeth cleared her throat.
So, you still got lots of work to do tonight?
No.
I sort of do, but I think I'm going to put it off until morning.
Yeah, let's go on a date.
Is that wise?
Quite wise.
Yes and no. The boss wouldn't want me staying this late all by myself.
She'd be worried
She'd
about
be
my safety.
worried about my safety.
Oh, what a lovely boss. In fact, she had specifically told me I should go home about 4 hours ago.
Right. If you're about to leave work anyway, perhaps you'd like to join me for a drink?
Ooh, alright, for a drink. I think about the horror movies that were waiting for me, but how could they hold any appeal against a real-life vampire right here? Besides that, she was totally my type. The glasses, the sport jersey, those adorable freckles. What sport jersey? I couldn't see things. But is that a sport jersey? I'm not very smart, aren't I? I smoothed the shirt I wore under my lab coat down a bit. Clean thugs, Mina. Come on.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I would like to get a drink. Just let me close everything up.
Yeah, let me close everything up.
May I come in?
Sure do. I paused. She noted my hesitation and lifted her hands innocently.
I'm just curious about the clinic. You can say no. I am happy to wait for you here.
No, it's okay, just come in. She had a blood, she seemed friendly and genuinely curious. There was no inner voice trying to warn me. In fact, it was very adamantly encouraging me.
Alright, come on in. Just don't touch anything. I don't want to get fired.
Don't want to get fired. I watched to see if anything exciting happened when I verbally allowed her inside. It did not. No sparkles or music. What do you expect? She just stepped inside as if the barrier had never been there to begin with, though it clearly had. I tried not to be disappointed. She followed me back to the back room, quietly taking in everything around her as she walked. Was she looking at me? I was glad I wore my favorite shirt today. Oh, that's your favorite shirt. Closed down the software, making sure to save my progress.
This is not at all what I imagined.
What do you imagine?
What did you imagine?
Oh, alright.
I guess I thought there would be blood on the floor and restraints to hold people down.
Oh, you thought blood clinic is some kind of torture place to gain blood. I look up at her horrified.
What?
What indeed? She laughed.
I'm kidding.
Oh, alright.
I just thought it would look more like a hospital. This looks more inviting.
Okay. That's a good joke. I love it. I chuckled. I should not have fallen for that so easily.
Oh, I really thought you were serious. Maybe I watched too much horror.
Maybe.
You like horror movies?
Yes, she does.
Yes. I love them.
Oh, such a passion for horror movies. Such
What
love.
is your favorite one?
Oh, alright. What is it? I paused and had to take a deep breath. How could I pick? Ooh, you love them all. Night of the Living. Oh, this is a choice. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Oh no, I haven't said. Bram Stoker. Ah, there you go.
I always thought vampires were pretty cool.
Yep, vampires were pretty cool, like you. It felt a bit embarrassed admitting it, but Elisabeth only smiled reassuringly. You are older than Carmilla, aren't you?
The Dracula movie that came out a few years ago?
Uh-huh.
It's so over the top and cheesy. I love it. I think it's the best adaptation I've seen.
Okay.
There's also the fact I have the same name as one of the iconic characters.
Really? I didn't know about that. I chuckled. What a funny coincidence. She grinned.
I'm quite fond of that one as well.
Ah, quite fun.
Really?
Yep.
I've always really enjoyed movies.
Interesting. Why?
What's your favorite movie?
What's your favorite? She stared at me for a moment and then looked away. She seemed to be thinking it over and her brow seized.
I can't pick. The
Ah,
last one I really liked was Romeo and Juliet. It was stylized, and I've always enjoyed takes on Shakespeare.
interesting. I gasped.
Were you alive in
Yeah.
Shakespeare's time?
Elisabeth laughed and shook her head. Oh, I thought she was alive in the Shakespeare era.
No. Oh, wow. Do I really seem that old?
No.
I thought all vampires were hundreds of years old.
Oh. I shrugged and rubbed my palms on my pants.
I am probably only a few years older than you, actually.
Interesting.
So you're a new vampire.
New vampire.
Basically. Are you disappointed? I was
Uh-huh.
only turned a few years ago, just before I finished my bachelor's.
Just before you finish your bachelor.
No, of course not. It's just interesting to learn more about you.
Learn more about you. Her eyes widened a bit and she turned away.
What did you study in college?
Yeah, what?
Marine biology.
Oh, marine
I'm working
biology.
on my master's degree currently.
Interesting, master degree.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
really cool.
Indeed, cool.
What are you planning to do after you graduate?
I'd like to be a professor, or
Aw.
focus on ocean life research. I'm particularly interested in sharks.
Sharks?
Sharks?
Sharks. Like Jaws, but I didn't say that. I had heard that movies wasn't popular among marine biologists because of the backlash it had created against shark. Oh. Then don't mention that. It's like mentioning the movies Rats. You know, that horror movies where rats becoming a terror in the city by consuming everything in its path. I kinda love that series. Her eyes lit up and I could tell it was something she was passionate about. Passionate.
Did you know that sharks have skin that feels like sandpaper? Tiger sharks might be my favorite. There is still a lot we don't know, though. Like, they will eat anything,
Interesting.
even license plates.
I kinda know about this fact already, about being felt like sandpaper and the license plate thing. Tiger sharks, yeah, it's so poor of them, they eat everything. Which is why we shouldn't. There's a lot of marine creature that eats how do you say it? Stuff that we throw into the ocean. That's why we shouldn't throw things at the ocean.
Goblin sharks are not only pink, but they are also considered living fossils.
Uh-huh.
They were
Indeed.
thought to be extinct until 1898.
Yep, but they still exist.
Sharks have existed practically unchanged for something like 400 million years. Can you imagine?
Oh, but I love crocodile more than sharks. Just saying.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Now tell her about red facts. I shut the computer off and took out the keys to lock up.
I'm done here. So, where did you want to get a drink?
Oh, love to hear more
Love
shark
to hear
facts.
more shark facts.
Indeed. She was so smart. I love listening to her talk and really want to hear more. I never know anyone who was into marine biology before.
There is a place that's pretty awesome, just don't tell Carmilla I said that.
Ah, Carmilla's bar, isn't it? She pushed her glass up her nose and grinned. I wasn't sure why I would tell Carmilla or why it would matter if I did, but I was happy to oblige.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We headed outside. I locked up and Elisabeth got us a cab to a bar, Bloodlust. I never gone inside before, but I had heard plenty of rumor, mostly about it being a gay bar, but now I wondered if there was more to it than that. Well, yes, it's a Carmilla bar. It was pretty crowded inside, but she managed to lead me to a quiet corner. It had a really nice atmosphere, so...
This place is...
Nice?
nice.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I won't tell Carmilla.
Haha. Love that. I won't tell Carmilla. Like that.
What?
What?
Because you said I
Sheldon.
shouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
Oh, not a joking type, aren't you? We fell into an awkward silence, filled by loud alternative music. I had certainly forget how to hold a conversation. I had never been good at dating, and it had been a long time since I'd been on one. I tried to think of something really smooth to say, but couldn't manage it.
I like this song.
Oh, both of you are awkward, aren't you? She pointed at the ceiling.
yeah, it's great.
Oh, so awkward. She smiled and glanced at the bar.
Let me buy you a drink. What would you like?
Good idea. Something to do with my hands right now. Might help calm me down.
Thank you. I'll have a...
Have a what? Alright, so the drink choice doesn't really matter. Let's go grab Dark and Stormy.
I've always wanted to try one.
Always wanted to try one.
It does have a cool sounding name, doesn't it?
It does. I nod. Dark and Stormy. How poetic.
Alright, I'll be back with a drink.
Nice. She left and I took a deep breath. This was going well, right? I thought so. Did she look bored? No. She's not bored. The change in location had messed up the flow of our conversation, or maybe I was just nervous here in the bar. It felt more like a date. I should ask her more questions when she gets back. I glanced out into the crowd and saw her carefully making her way through it. She held a Dark and Stormy and nothing else. I suppose vampires only drink blood. She returned and handed me the drink. I took a careful sip. It tasted great.
That was fast.
Indeed, what do you expect from a vampire? She shrugged, as if it was not a big deal. As if it was no big deal.
I know the bartender.
Uh-huh. You do know the bartender. That might explain why she didn't want to have to wait as long as everyone else who were all gathered around the bar.
Really? That's cool.
That's cool. Okay, now is your chance to get to know her. Just think of a really insightful question and...
I don't want you to think I come here all the time or anything.
Yeah, you probably come here all the time.
Huh?
I mean, I like bars.
Uh-huh.
You know, every now and then. But I prefer a quiet evening at home, you know?
Oh, that is nice.
Oh, sure. Me too.
Me too.
Really?
Really? Really? No. Mina is just, could go that direction or that direction. Like that. Could be in a quiet place or a loud place.
Oh, yeah. I like to watch horror movies, order takeout, and hang out with my rats.
Hang out with my rats. Oh, perhaps later you will hang out with some sharks. If she has one. She grinned at me. I kinda had a feeling this wasn't her typical hangout, but I didn't want to say anything.
I didn't know rats were a common pet.
Oh yeah. Rats. Rats.
They are actually the best pet. They are wicked
Such
smart,
conviction
and you
behind
can train
that
them
voice.
like a dog.
Yep, rats are wicked smart and you can train them like a dog.
They can play fetch and run obstacle courses. Also, hamsters are assholes.
What? Why? Why hamster are butthole? Why hamster are hole in the butt? Wow, well, what's wrong with hamster? You know, my beloved owns a Roborovsky. It's a hamster, you know. rubbery hamster, even though I don't really know the hamster itself. But it's quite a sweet looking hamster. She even gave me some of the hamster picture. Cute. Well, of course I usually say we could roast the hamster. Just kidding. She burst out laughing, covering her mouth, perhaps to hide her fangs.
Are they really?
Yep, yeah, they are.
You are way more likely to be bitten by a hamster than a rat.
Really? That is surprising.
Do you have science to back this up?
Yeah, do you have the science? She smiled as she said it, and I couldn't help but notice how attractive she was when she was amused.
Not really, just personal experience.
Oh, alright.
Rats are seriously underrated though. Mine are so sweet and cuddly.
So sweet and cuddly. Alright, I understand. I did not need to go into the evil hamster I had as a pet when I was a kid. Ah, that's why, evil hamster. I'm sure some of them were actually cute and nice, but I need to see it to believe it.
I trust you. I'd love to meet them sometime. If that's alright. See for myself.
Ah, a second date then. Okay. I smiled down at my dark and stormy, trying to ignore the way my heart was fluttering in my chest.
Yeah, totally. They're very friendly to new people.
That's what a lot of dog owners say, and the dog is actually not friendly, just saying. I cleared my throat and tried to play it cool. I took another drink and tried to think of something not uncool to say. Elisabeth spoke before I could.
What else do you like? Besides rats and horror movies?
Interesting, what else? She smirked and took a few small steps closer to me, probably to hear me better. The music was pretty loud. Vampires. It's definitely this one, isn't it? Definitely. Ah, yeah, it is.
Vampires are pretty awesome.
Vampires are pretty awesome. She bit her lip and glanced away. Oh.
You're pretty cute, Nina.
Ooh. I rubbed my arm, feeling embarrassed. I hadn't meant to say it, but I was glad I did. Now if only I could be brave again, but on purpose.
I think you are too.
And you did! Awesome, Mina. She grinned and took... Oh, the music gone. And took another step closer. She reached over and tucked a stray hair behind my ear. She was so close, I could smell cocoa nuts? Was it her shampoo? Probably.
I'd really like to kiss you, if that's okay.
That's a quick advancement, but okay. She glanced down at my lips and I felt my heart go from racing to full-on panic. I nodded. That was definitely okay. She leaned in to kiss me and I wrapped my arms around her shoulder. My mind went blank as I felt the brush of her finger just under the fabric of my shirt. We kissed until I felt like my knees would give out, and then I pulled away. She began to kiss my cheek and then nibbled on my earlobe. Oh. I gasped at the way it felt and suddenly wondered if there were eyes on us. If there were, did I care? Not really. I felt the wetness of a tongue on my throat and that stopped me cold. Ooh. Going rough, aren't you two? I tensed, desperately anticipating what might come next, but Elisabeth pulled away.
Oh, I wasn't going to bite you.
Oh, Elisabeth was so, how to say it, very... She looks very, serious and... well-behaved at the time. Not well-behaved, how do you say it? Serious and, well-calculated all the time, but she was actually very... How do you say it? What's the term of it? Very considerate. Not very considerate, very panicky, considerate, yeah. She looked concerned. Maybe she thought my reaction was from fear.
You weren't?
You weren't? I smoothed down my shirt. I could still feel the gentle way she had caressed me.
Did you want me to?
Oh,
Mina? At that moment I had, which was a bit odd. I never wanted someone to bite me before. Was it because I knew she was a vampire?
I can if you'd like.
I can if you like to. I felt my face grow incredibly hot. Now it just felt awkward still.
would it hurt?
Quite a bit.
It only hurts for a moment at first, and then it actually feels pretty nice.
Alright. She pushed her glasses up to the bridge of her nose.
I believe something in the fangs or saliva activates when it's mixed with blood that causes a euphoric effect, similar to morphine.
Similar to morphine. Similar to mosquitoes, you mean? No.
Oh,
You know, mosquitoes do that. At first, or when they bite us, it doesn't feel like anything, but when they leave, it feels sore. Itching. That was fascinating. Were their fangs hollow? Was it a chemical in their saliva?
Additionally, the saliva causes the blood to be thinned, so it flows easier. However, if I lick the wound,
Interesting.
it'll close quicker than normal.
Interesting vampire fact.
what an interesting reaction.
Interesting indeed.
I know! I'd like to study it, but most vampires don't really care about the phenomena. They're just happy it works.
Ah, like Carmilla, isn't it?
They tell me to just pretend it's magic.
It's
Ha!
magic. Haha.
Oh, I wonder if it's like leeches or ticks.
Leeches or ticks. Really? She made of. Why did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. She chuckled and blushed, rubbing the back of her neck.
Not great date talk, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, it's fine.
it's fine. We both felt quiet and I found myself looking at her lips again. I should resist. I wanted to talk to her more. Why should you? Who knows if I would ever be near a vampire again?
I'm actually very curious about vampires.
Aha, very curious.
You have questions?
Indeed.
Can you really not enter a place without permission?
Yeah. Wait, you can enter this place without permission?
You saw for yourself.
Uh-huh.
When you threw Carmilla?
When you threw Carmilla. I chuckled, remembering the way she had looked squished against an invincible barrier.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I can't explain the science behind that either.
Interesting. Fascinating.
Can you go out during the day?
Nope. See?
I would burst into fire. Then
Burst
I
into
would
fire.
turn into ash.
Interesting.
At least, that is what I've been told.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen it, and I don't want to test it.
Don't want to test it. Alright then.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you, definitely. It was almost as if I had found a kindred spirit. Someone to discuss things scientifically with and who didn't mind when I rambled about things. She rambled too, but I enjoyed it. We spent most of the night talking. She told me about vampire squids and jellyfish. I told her about obscure, underrated horror movies. It was exhilarating to speak so passionately with her about things we loved. Eventually, I started to feel my entire body screaming at me to sleep. I knew I needed to get home, even if I didn't want the night to end. Finally say my goodbyes and head home. Really hope I will get to see her again. You will, 1 year later. Elisabeth. Was late staying to do paperwork again this Halloween, but this time I had someone keeping me company.
This software
interface looks so ugly. Really? Alright then.
I
know, but my
that's
boss
why
likes it.
likes it.
She gave up on looking over my shoulder and began to pace around the room. She looked everything over. She was careful not to disturb anything, but no matter how many times she had been here, she remained curious. It was probably the scientist in her. When I thought she wouldn't notice, I glanced up to watch her. Normally, being around her was relaxing. This past year, we had grown comfortably close. However, tonight was very different. I wanted to ask her to move in with me. Oh, that's different from Carmilla. You're the one asking, not her. I even gone out and bought some heavy curtains and blinds. She might say no though, maybe it was too soon, maybe not. Oh, screaming in frustration.
Are you alright? You look
Are
really
you
frustrated.
alright? Looks really frustrated.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Fine. Oh, sounds very confused. I tried to smile. She turned away to look at some safety signs we had hanging up.
This place doesn't pay you very well, does it?
Nope, it doesn't. I snort.
No.
There were some months where I struggled, but I made do. She knew that as a student, even a vampire student, she was in a very similar situation. She did have a part-time job as a research assistant and sometimes worked in the university library. It paid about as well as my job though.
I was thinking...
Thinking about what?
Yeah?
Between my income and your income...
Alright, discussing about income. I stopped what I was doing and gave her my full attention. She pulled absently at her ear.
I was just thinking... It might be beneficial if we moved in together.
You're very nervous, you speak so quickly. But indeed, beneficial. I couldn't believe it. I stared at her, mouth hanging open. Yep, she beats you to it. It had been so nervous for so long, and she just came right out and said it.
Oh, I guess that wasn't a very romantic way to put it. There are romantic intentions as well, of course.
Definitely.
This past year with you has been...
Amazing.
It's been just amazing. I like the idea of waking up together and having meals together and...
Oh, lovely.
Maybe you don't think so.
No. Mina probably thinks so. I smiled. She was frowning. I needed to explain. I hadn't meant to give her the impression that I wasn't fully on board with the idea.
No, it's just that I was actually planning to ask you the same thing tonight.
That no and you. No, you. Lovely.
Really? To move in together?
Yeah. She closed the distance between us and bent down to meet my gaze where I sat at the computer. The gloom she had earlier was completely gone. I turned away from the computer, wanting to face her fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great minds, huh?
Right, mine? Thanks alike. She kissed me gently and then pulled away.
I don't want to distract you. I know you have a lot of work to do.
No, it's okay. I shook my head. If the equipment wasn't so expensive, I shoved it off the desk to prove that I would choose her over work. Oh. Instead, I saved and shut down the software in a less dramatic gesture.
I am done with work.
Done, indeed. I shut the computer down and stepped away from the desk. I grabbed the key so I could lock the place up as I went. Then, I turned to Elisabeth and clapped my hand together awkwardly.
Let's get out of here.
Indeed. I took off my lab coat and she followed me into the waiting area of the clinic.
Will you sleep in my coffin with me?
You sleep in a coffin?
Coffin?
Coffin? Bruh? Coffin? I squeaked. I looked over at her and knew she had tricked me again. She laughed. I should have known better. Alright, I thought she was really mean it. I had been to her apartment and there was a normal bed. Oh, okay. I laughed with her.
I don't know. Maybe they're comfortable.
Maybe they are comfortable. Maybe.
It's too morbid to even think about.
Alright, why do you suggest it at the first place? She shuddered, though she was still laughing.
I was also thinking...
Uh-huh.
If you ever wanted to be a vampire too...
Yep, let's do it, now. I had reached for the door but stopped. My hand hovered near the handle. It was something that I had considered before. She was a vampire and I was a human. How long could that possibly go on? I would age and she would stay the same. I needed human food and she only required blood. There were benefits to being a vampire, but there were drawbacks too. There had been so many things to consider, and it had always been something we avoided discussing before. Something that would occasionally hang over us, creating an awkward silence. Carefully answered.
Yeah?
Well, that's not a careful answer. Yeah.
I would turn you into a vampire if you asked.
I studied her expression. Did she want me to be a vampire? Did she like me better as a human?
I'm glad you would, but what do you think? Would you like me better if I was like you?
Being considerate. She shook her head and stepped closer to me.
I adore you the way you are, and that wouldn't change if you become a vampire.
Oh,
I will be happy if you are happy.
oh, so sweet.
It's also your body and your choice. I won't take that from you. I only offer so that you know that I'm willing.
Alright, Elisabeth, alright. I threw my arms around her. She always seemed to know what to say. She kissed the side of my head and I took a deep breath.
I want to think about it more.
Indeed. Think about it more. I pulled away so that I could look at her.
I want to consider things carefully. Weigh the benefits against the negatives, you know?
You know, indeed.
How scientific. I approve.
Understandable. Have a nice day. She smiled at me and I resumed prepping the door so that we could leave.
I figured you would.
Figured you would indeed. Oh. We had a connection that I had always dreamed of. I love her in a way I had not thought possible. Someone who truly accepted me and appreciated the things in me that others found annoying. In turn, I felt the same way about her. Hand in hand, we headed home to our home. The end. Oh, it was such a sweet ending, this one. Sweet, lovely, cutesy, how do you say it? Kinda awkwardly ending. Lovely. So, yeah, this is the credit. This is the fourth time actually. Fifth time I have seen this credit, but let's just roll it. So yeah, I think that is actually all for Night of the Lesbian Vampires. A pretty straight title, isn't it? We have unlocked all the good ending, the views and opinion expressed by Mina Hamster. Alright, does not reflect the tea. Because that sounds a bit offensive to hamster lover. Alright then. So that's all finally for the Night of the Lesbian Vampires. See you later in my next video then. Bye bye.